Ms. Mitchell, you have 14 days to vacate the premises. The landlord's voice cut through the phone, causing Sarah to fumble and drop the medication she had been meticulously counting. I have exercised considerable patience, yet 3 months of overdue payments is quite concerning. Mr. Reynolds, I kindly ask for your understanding. I have half of the rent ready. My upcoming paycheck, apologies, but the announcement has already been made. Sarah gazed at the disarray of pills strewn across her kitchen floor. Emma's asthma medication costs almost $200 each month, even with insurance coverage. The sound of her daughter's wheezing from the bedroom echoed painfully, a stark reminder of the financial burdens that made rent an impossible dream. Mommy? Emma gasped, her breaths coming in labored bursts. I feel a pain in my chest. Sarah concluded the conversation, her hands trembling as she gathered the pills. Here comes the little one. She hurriedly took the nebulizer and dashed to Emma's room, where her 8-year-old was propped up in bed, blonde hair clinging to her damp forehead. Once more, her phone vibrated with a notification. The manager of the diner. Sarah, where have you gone? Your shift began 20 minutes ago. Lisa, I regret to inform you that Emma is experiencing an episode. This marks the 3rd occurrence this month. I see where you're coming from, but I require dependable personnel. I assure you, I will find a way to make amends. Please refrain from coming in tomorrow, or perhaps the following day. It's over. The nebulizer emitted a soft hum while Sarah assisted Emma in fitting the breathing mask. She struggled to hold back tears, her mind racing with the reality of being 3 months behind on rent, unemployed, medical bills accumulating, and just $342 left in her account. The screen of her phone illuminated with a message from the social worker at the hospital. I came across this and it reminded me of you. Lucrative opportunity for a caregiver role. Confidential client. Your nursing background is excellent. Attached are the details. Sarah opened the attachment, her fingers gently running through Emma's hair. Position available for live-in arrangement. Comprehensive advantages. Compensation that left her momentarily speechless. Customer. James Whitman. Innovative business leader, recently faced with paralysis. The James Whitman? She murmured softly. The accident was common knowledge among all. The remarkable founder of SecureShare, rendered immobile in a climbing accident 6 months prior. The opportunity appeared daunting, yet the compensation would suffice for rent, Emma's medication, and additional expenses. Emma's breathing became more even with the help of the medication. Mom, will we be all right? Sarah gazed at the job listing, then shifted her focus to the eviction notice that had been slipped under her door. Absolutely, darling. Everything is going to be all right. With fingers quivering, she composed a reply to the social worker. I will proceed with the interview. Once again, her phone chimed. A note about her upcoming evening shift at the convenience store. She couldn't afford to lose another job. Not today. Yet Emma's complexion remained ashen, her breaths unsteady. Could you please head over to Mrs. Garcia's? She inquired of her daughter. Their elderly neighbor had taken on the role of their unofficial emergency backup. Emma nodded with determination. I'm feeling improved. Sarah collected her daughter's belongings, her thoughts swirling with various scenarios. The Whitman position appeared almost too good to be true, yet she found herself with no alternatives. Her nursing license was suspended following the incident from 2 years prior, the one she desperately sought to erase from her memory. However, a role as a private caregiver could present a different experience. She escorted Emma to Mrs. Garcia's apartment, expressed her customary gratitude to the generous woman, and hurried to switch into her store uniform. Just one more shift. Another day of striving to stay afloat. Tomorrow she would confront the Whitman interview. As she secured her apartment door, Sarah glimpsed her reflection in the hallway mirror. Weary gaze, furrowed brow at 32, golden locks quickly pulled away. She squared her shoulders, recalling her mother's advice. Mitchell women are unyielding. We flex, we adjust, we endure. The eviction notice crinkled in her pocket while she rushed down the stairs. 2 weeks to preserve it all. The Whitman job was more than merely an opportunity. It was her final option. She retrieved her phone for one final glance, scrutinizing the job requirements once more. Must be open to residing on the premises. Preference for experience with spinal cord injuries. References needed. Sarah took a deep breath. They would inquire about her experience in the nursing field. They would be curious about her lack of practice. But at this moment, witnessing Emma's fight for breath, confronting eviction, losing yet another job, she simply couldn't indulge in the luxury of pride or fear. The journey to the convenience store provided her with the opportunity to begin crafting replies to the questions she knew would come. She was capable of achieving this. She needed to accomplish this for Emma. The Whitman estate towered in front of Sarah. A contemporary marvel of glass and steel, elegantly situated on the eastern hills of Seattle. The cost of her bus fare had gnawed away at her food budget, yet she couldn't afford to show up in her dilapidated Honda. Not for this crucial interview. A statuesque figure clad in a meticulously fitted suit swung the door wide just as Sarah's knuckles were poised to make contact. Patricia Whitman, sister to James and his legal advisor. Her handshake was quick, evaluating. You've arrived ahead of schedule. It's wiser to arrive early than to fret about whether the bus will delay you, Sarah responded candidly. Patricia's lips pressed together. Come along with me. The residence exuded an air of a museum rather than that of a warm, inviting home. Simplistic furnishings, bright white walls and expansive windows that frame a view of Lake Washington. The flawless execution was marred by medical equipment. A hospital bed can be seen through an ajar door. A wheelchair positioned next to a stylish sofa. Your resume lacks recent experience, Patricia began, settling into an armchair. There have been no nursing positions available in the past 2 years. I have kept my certifications in patient care and emergency response active while juggling other employment opportunities. What prompted your departure from nursing? Sarah had practiced this meticulously. A personal setback that necessitated a brief pause on my journey. I am prepared to re-enter the realm of caregiving. For a limited time, Patricia retrieved a tablet. Public records indicate that your license has been suspended due to a malpractice incident. Patient has passed away. The atmosphere in the room grew stifling. The case has been dismissed. However, the suspension remains in effect. That's the reason I'm seeking a caregiver position rather than a nursing role. A door creaked open behind them. Are you questioning another candidate, Pat? Sarah glanced over to find James Whitman maneuvering his wheelchair into the room. His photos failed to capture his true essence. Defined contours, intense stare. The athlete's physical presence remained striking, even in light of his condition. His crisp white dress shirt and neatly pressed slacks conveyed a sense of defiance against the challenges at hand. I am performing a comprehensive background check, Patricia clarified, as per your request. As she met James's gaze head-on, Sarah remarked, and I'm certain you'll uncover every one of my imperfections. A subtle change flickered across his face. Unexpected delight, maybe even a touch of humor. Transparency, invigorating. He placed himself in the space between them. What motivates you to pursue this position, Ms. Mitchell? I need the money, Sarah said. What you truly require is someone who recognizes your humanity, rather than viewing you as a mere endeavor or a source of sorrow. I possess the abilities to assist with your physical requirements while also valuing your independence. Pat, could you please hold on for a moment? Patricia stood, her disapproval palpable. James, if you could. After she departed, James observed Sarah intently. Many candidates make grand promises of miraculous recoveries or approach me in a condescending manner. Your condition hasn't been brought up at all. Your medical history is documented in your records. I'm curious about your everyday habits, likes, and limits. Even with your intricate history, Sarah inclined her body, eager and attentive. Mr. Whitman, I have erred, and it is a grave error. Each day I carry that with me. It imparted lessons on humility, the importance of truly listening to patients, and the distinction between assistance and domination. I appreciate your consideration and understand if that disqualifies me for this role. James rolled in closer. I have professionals for my healing, medical experts for my well-being, and a watchful sister for all the other aspects of my life. I seek authenticity in others. A person who recognizes that challenges arise, yet life continues to unfold. He took a moment to stop. I also require someone who will persist even when I present challenges. I have a daughter who is 8 years old. I have a strong understanding of challenges. The role necessitates residing on the premises. She is able to spend weekends with her father. Throughout the week, there exists a guest house. James gave a slight nod. When are you available to begin? Sarah opened her eyes wide. Are you really extending the job offer to me? Patricia will despise it. She will conduct additional background checks. She might have you sign a multitude of NDAs, but indeed. He reached out his hand. Greetings to the spectacle, Ms. Mitchell. Sarah grasped his hand, observing the strength of his hold and the roughness of his palms, a testament to his climbing adventures. Sarah, if you would be so kind. James and Sarah, consider this a heads up. I'm more inept than any child of 8. At last, a smile graced her lips that day. We'll find out soon enough. Rule 1, James declared, while Sarah sorted through her sparse possessions in the guest house 3 days later. No hovering allowed. I will seek assistance when necessary. Counter rule, Sarah said, as she organized Emma's asthma medications on the bathroom shelf. You'll seek assistance before you risk injury in an effort to validate your stance. He rested against the doorframe. His wheelchair stood quietly behind him. Is this your usual straightforwardness? Would you rather I tread lightly around your pride? A fleeting smile danced across his lips. Guideline 2, no sympathy. Believe in me. After witnessing your exchange with the board during that video call, sympathy is far from my thoughts. The guest house surpassed their apartment in size, featuring a contemporary kitchen that Emma would adore, along with a quaint view of the garden. Sarah dedicated her morning to securing the medication cabinets throughout the main house and committing emergency protocols to memory, all while James was at physical therapy, or at least that was the plan. You missed PT, she said, looking directly at him. That approach isn't going to fly with me here. Rule 3, my timetable is my affair. That doesn't align with my agreement. She retrieved the document that Patricia had instructed her to sign. Attendance at physical therapy is clearly stated. 2 times. James's jaw clenched. I let go of the last 3 therapists. We'll seek out a better option, but you are definitely going. A sudden knock shattered the tension of their standoff. Patricia made her entrance with an air of sophistication. The NDAs have been finalized. Is that you, Sarah? 1 word. Outside, Patricia extended an envelope towards her. The compensation for your initial week of work. Progressive. Please don't let me regret my decision to overlook my concerns about the background check. I shall not. James is perfectly fine on his own. He requires organization, a sense of professionalism, and the ability to maintain confidentiality. The future of his company hinges on his recovery. Sarah slipped the envelope into her pocket. He requires someone who recognizes his humanity, rather than viewing him as a burden. The weekend has come upon us in the blink of an eye. Emma skipped through the main house, posing naive inquiries about James's wheelchair that caused Patricia to flinch and elicited an unexpected chuckle from James. Is it capable of performing tricks? Emma inquired during dinner. Is that you, Emma? Sarah cautioned. Indeed, James responded, observe this. He pulled off an impeccable wheelie, eliciting a joyful giggle from Emma and a bemused eye roll from Sarah. Now she'll think I should master wheelchair tricks, Sarah muttered. As Sarah assisted James with his evening routine, she caught sight of him gazing at Emma, who was playing in the garden outside the window. She is always welcome here, he murmured softly, during the weekends. Thanks a lot. Sarah rearranged his pillows. However, Rule 4. No evasion. You overlooked PT. Once more. Their condescending attitudes really frustrate me. Let's seek out an individual who pushes your boundaries. She passed him his medications. Someone as determined as you are. Is that your expert assessment? Absolutely not. That's my perspective. I've reviewed your file and am aware of your ascent of El Capitan. You seem like the type who perseveres without hesitation. James gazed intently at the pills he held in his palm. The board meeting for the company is scheduled for next month. Progress is essential for them to witness. Then let us reveal a glimpse of what we can do. Sarah took a moment to assess his blood pressure. However, you must place your trust in me first. Trust is something that must be cultivated over time. Respect is essential. Rest peacefully, Mr. Whitman. Just as she was about to walk away, his voice called out to her, halting her steps. Is that you, Sarah? Fifth rule. My name is James. Always James. Her lips curved into a smile. Sleep well, James. Within the guest house, Emma had already drifted into slumber. Her breath was calm and even. Sarah meticulously tallied the bills from Patricia's envelope. Sufficient for the upcoming month's rent and Emma's prescriptions. Perhaps, just perhaps, they might find a way to make this succeed. Her phone vibrated, signaling a message from James. PT. Tomorrow at 9 in the morning. Discovered an individual who has summit Everest. Is that sufficiently stubborn? Sarah replied with a message. Guideline number 6. Please refrain from texting outside of business hours unless it is an urgent matter. His reply arrived without delay. Guideline number 7. I established the guidelines. Guideline number 8. Continue to remind yourself of that. 9 o'clock in the morning. Keen. She could nearly perceive his laughter echoing through the walls. Sarah discovered the pills tucked away in James' desk drawer. 3 weeks of neglected medication concealed beneath corporate documents. Her hands trembled as she gazed at the labels. Muscle relaxants. Managing discomfort. Support for nerve regeneration. Everything is crucial. Everything overlooked. Upon James's return from the company video call, she awaited him in his office. Sorting through my desk. His voice held a perilous hush. Carrying out my responsibilities. She set the pill bottles down on his desk. Did you intend to share that with me? Negative. Function may be compromised. Irreversible harm. I've already lost function, he exclaimed sharply. Or have you been oblivious? This isn't about your limitations. It's about your surrender. James spun around the desk. His movements were precise, fueled by a simmering rage. I am putting the company up for sale. The silence lingered in the air. Sarah braced herself against the desk. Excuse me? The board seeks innovation? Growth? Are there any upcoming events? I seek an escape. He motioned toward the wheelchair. This doesn't quite represent the forefront of innovation. Are you really undermining your healing just to validate their beliefs? I'm being pragmatic. Who wants a leader who can't even? He paused. Teeth gritted. What can't you do? Embrace independence? Manage a business? Do you have a life? Sarah moved in closer. From my perspective, it seems you're managing all three quite well. Simply poorly. His laughter carried a tinge of bitterness. Is that your expert evaluation? Negative. I'm here to challenge you on your tendency to wallow in self-pity. She folded her arms across her chest. You engaged my services to assist you in preserving your autonomy. Instead, you're opting for reliance by disregarding your well-being. Your opinion wasn't requested. What a shame. It accompanies the medication I am compensated to oversee. She wrapped her fingers against the pill bottles. The very medication you've been discarding while feigning its use. James turned his wheelchair toward the window, facing away from her. The Seattle skyline unfolded before them, with his company's buildings standing out in the distance. The board meeting is scheduled for 2 weeks from now. Are you really going to manifest your own downfall? He pivoted abruptly. You simply don't get it. My spouse has passed away. The words slipped out before she had a chance to hold them back. I decided to step away from nursing for that reason. An error. I acknowledge my error. I administered the incorrect medication during a code blue situation. She compelled herself to lock eyes with him. I felt like throwing in the towel. To conceal. To impose a consequence on myself. Yet I had Emma. The office was enveloped in silence. At last, James found his voice. What is the reason behind sharing this with me? For some, surrendering feels simpler than battling on. And you are not afraid, James. Simply fearful, much like I once was. He gazed intently at the pills. The board requires public appearances every quarter, showcasing products, meetings with clients. Thus, we shall make the necessary arrangements for them. But first, she reached for the antispasmodic. It's time to take your medication. Everything. There will be no discussions. Or perhaps, alternatively, I could inform Patricia about the plans for the sale. His gaze sharpened. You simply wouldn't challenge me. She extended her hand, presenting the pill bottle. It's up to you, but make your decision swiftly. You have physical training. In half an hour. James grasped the bottle. A hesitant smile played at the corners of his lips. You play rough, Mitchell. No, I strive for victory. Something you were once familiar with. She made her way to the door. 29 minutes. Please don't force my return. Sarah, his voice halted her. The tablets. They cloud my mind. The board will take note. She became gentler. Next, we will consult with your physician regarding a possible adjustment to the dosage. However, you must prioritize taking them initially. James nodded, removing the cap from the bottle. Don't become accustomed to victory. Don't become accustomed to defeat. As she shut the door, the sound of him swallowing the pills echoed in her ears. Minor triumphs, she mused. At times, they sufficed. Take a look at this. Emma's voice rang out through the garden as she showcased her cartwheel for the third time. James lounged on the patio, a tablet resting idly in his lap, utterly captivated by her spontaneous display of gymnastics. Sarah watched them from the kitchen window as she busied herself with lunch preparations. A month had gone by since their clash regarding the medications. James has been diligent, ensuring he hasn't skipped a single dose since that time. It's your turn, Emma called to James. He chuckled. A genuine laugh, unlike the bitter one Sarah had become accustomed to. It seems that cartwheels are currently outside my range of abilities. However, Emma maintained that there are plenty of other exciting things you can do. Mom mentioned that you used to scale mountains. Sarah held her breath, bracing herself for his response. James had steered clear of discussing climbing ever since the incident. I did, he murmured softly. El Capitan, Mount Rainier, and the majestic peaks of the Alps. Emma settled next to his wheelchair. What inspired your beginning? To Sarah's astonishment, James started to narrate the tale. She edged nearer to the door to eavesdrop. As a child, he confessed to having a fear of heights. My father brought me along for a climb to confront that fear head-on. On my initial attempt, I found myself paralyzed midway. Rather than pushing me to my limits, he encouraged me to have faith in my equipment, my preparation, and my own abilities. Did fear still linger within you? Each ascent, that's what rendered it meaningful. He cast a fleeting look at his legs. Fear reveals what is truly significant. Sarah emerged onto the patio, carrying sandwiches. Midday ascenders? As they dined, James kept the conversation lively with his tales. His inaugural summit. Severe weather conditions. Preferred paths. Emma absorbed every word, and Sarah observed how he thrived in the narration. Once Emma retreated indoors for her afternoon reading, Sarah took it upon herself to clear the plates. I appreciate that. For what purpose? Communicating with her. She has been intrigued yet hesitant to inquire. James observed Emma from his vantage point by the window. She brings to mind my own experiences from that time in my life. Inquisitive, fearless. You remain fearless when it counts. Sarah took a seat. Your physical therapist noted progress yesterday. The recently appointed therapist. The mountaineer you discovered. She grasps the mentality. Approaches every session as a journey to strategize and overcome. Little triumphs accumulate over time. In the realm of triumphs, he accessed something on his tablet. Emma's performance in mathematics. I've been assisting her with the coding games we developed. Sarah looked at the enhanced grades with astonishment. You have been monitoring her development. Focusing on the accomplishments of others can be quite beneficial at times. He took a moment to stop. The upcoming board meeting is scheduled for next week. You are prepared. Am I really? What is the schedule for the medication? It has been modified. You're more alert now than when you were missing doses. She observed him intently. "Share with me what's truly on your mind." James paused in silence. "I once held the power to captivate audiences in boardrooms. Now they will understand. A leader who evolved, who triumphed, who possesses greater strength for this. You genuinely think that?" "I have faith in proof. The figures for your company have increased. Your progress is proceeding as planned. You just dedicated an hour to recounting climbing tales with unwavering enthusiasm." He pondered this. Minor triumphs? Summing it all together, Sarah rose to her feet. "Let's discuss your attire for the presentation. I am capable of dressing myself." Amendment of regulations. Embracing assistance doesn't mean sacrificing your autonomy. James beamed with delight. "When it comes to guidelines, when did we cease our tally?" "Just when you began to shatter them all." She made her way indoors. "Preparation for the board meeting is in an hour. Please ensure you arrive on time." "Is that you, Sarah?" Her progress came to a halt at the sound of his voice. "Thanks a lot." "For the climbing counselor." To Emma. "In regard to." "For engaging in underhanded tactics." "For engaging in any form of conflict." Sarah gave a slight nod, grasping the unspoken thoughts that eluded him. Occasionally, the most significant triumphs lie within the tiniest instances. A tale we all hold together. The sound of a child's laughter. A confrontation with fear. Just one step. A single ascent. In a moment. 78%? Emma gazed intently at her math test. "Disappointment is clear. However, I dedicated myself to my studies with great effort." Sarah observed her daughter's shoulders droop while they sat in the guesthouse kitchen. Just as she was about to reply, a knock echoed through the room. James lingered in the cool air, anticipation hanging around him like a shroud, a tablet resting on his lap. He mentioned that someone is struggling with fractions. Emma's expression softened a bit. "Rest is essential after your physical training. Instructing is a form of relaxation. Moreover," he rolled in, "I have something to reveal to you." Sarah arched an eyebrow. "The guidance from your physical therapist was clear." "In just 1 hour," James assured. "Then right back to my exhilarating routine of ice packs and stretches." He accessed a program on his tablet. "Emma, imagine if I said that math resembles coding in many ways. It's essential to divide significant challenges into more manageable parts. I appreciate the games produced by your company." Emma inched nearer. "Precisely. Take a look at this." He unveiled a straightforward coding interface. "Let's transform those fractions into an enjoyable experience." For the next hour, Sarah observed as James guided Emma in crafting a simple game that transformed fractions into engaging visual puzzles. Her daughter's initial frustration evolved into a captivating intrigue as she discovered the art of deconstructing problems into methodical steps. "Do you see? 3/4 is more than a mere figure," James elaborated. "These are guidelines for the computer. What is the total number of parts? 4. How many are we aiming for? 3. It's akin to narrating a tale to the computer. Isn't it?" Emma's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Programming involves providing highly detailed directives. Similar to a formula but designed for machines." Sarah caught a glimpse of James suppressing a wince as he adjusted his position. "The time has come, you both." "Mom, we're just about to dive into the exciting part." Sarah reminded her that the teacher had assigned math homework, not coding. James interjected, "What if we merge them? Emma can enhance her understanding of fractions through the creation of straightforward games. I will oversee." With her arms crossed, Sarah stood firm. "Does this have any connection to sidestepping your own exercises? Juggling multiple tasks, a hallmark of leadership." "Please, Mom," Emma begged. "It brings clarity to the numbers," Sarah pondered it. Emma's passion for knowledge was deserving of some flexibility in the guidelines. Twice a week following homework, contingent upon James adhering to his recovery plan. Agreed. Emma embraced James without thinking. He paused for a heartbeat, then clumsily patted her back. As Sarah assisted James with his evening stretches, she observed him wincing in discomfort. "You went a bit too far." "Absolutely worthwhile." He presented her with his tablet. Observe the masterpiece she crafted in just 1 hour. The display revealed a straightforward yet effective game, transforming fractions into vibrant blocks. She has an innate talent. She simply required someone to interpret it in her own words. James persevered through yet another phase. I've been contemplating educational software, an approach that accommodates various learning preferences. Is there a new project on the horizon? Perhaps. The board has been advocating for growth into new markets. With gentle care, Sarah assisted him in returning to his chair. In relation to the board, Patricia reached out. She has concerns regarding interruptions during your healing process. Emma isn't a diversion. He hesitated. She brings back the inspiration behind my journey in building this company. Technology ought to facilitate connections, foster learning, and promote growth. Is that what you plan to say to Patricia? I plan to inform her that I'm investigating prospects in the educational market while keeping up with my part-time schedule. He wore a sly grin. Expertise in leadership and effective messaging. Sarah chuckled softly. Expertise in the art of imaginative honesty. Tomorrow's lesson will delve into the concept of loops. Emma may finally grasp multiplication tables following that. James, Sarah's voice took on a gentle tone. Thank you for recognizing her potential. He turned his wheelchair toward the door. I appreciate the opportunity to teach once more. I lost track of how much pleasure it brought me. Once he departed, Sarah discovered Emma engrossed in her game development. Just 5 more minutes and then it's time for bed. Mother, does James feel isolated? He appears to be quite joyful while imparting his knowledge to me. Sarah observed from the window as James approached the main house. At times, individuals must extend assistance just as much as they require it. Is there a way we can provide him with additional support? We already are, darling. Sarah pressed her lips gently to her daughter's head. One piece at a time. The manila envelope landed on James' desk with a decisive thud. Patricia loomed above it, her demeanor icy. Would you be willing to clarify this? As Sarah examined James' medication schedule, a wave of unease washed over her. She identified the legal letterhead, the very same from her malpractice case. Not really, James responded, his gaze fixed on the screen. Patient has passed away, James. Patricia's voice sliced through the atmosphere of the room. With a gentle touch, Sarah's hands found their balance against the back of a chair. If you have inquiries regarding my history, feel free to approach me directly. Very well, Patricia turned. Detail the circumstances surrounding the medication error that led to the death of Andrew Chun, age 42, during your shift. Describe the reasons behind the suspension of your nursing license. Could you clarify the reasons behind your decision to conceal this during the interview? I was completely transparent. The case has been dismissed, following a resolution, and you're filing for bankruptcy soon after. Could that have been mere chance? James maneuvered his way between them. That's enough, Pat. Insufficient, indeed. Patricia retrieved additional documents. Have you heard that she's been struggling to make ends meet? Was she dealing with eviction when she submitted her application here? That the father of her daughter has not provided child support for several months? Every word struck with the force of a tangible impact. Sarah struggled to maintain her composure. My financial situation does not hinder my capacity to perform my duties. Your discernment does. A man lost his life because you took the incorrect medication in a moment of crisis. Pat, James's voice snapped sharply. Gone. At this moment, she poses a risk. Be gone. Patricia collected her papers, her voice icy. The board is unlikely to approve of this. Not with the discussions of the merger beginning. Once she departed, an eerie stillness enveloped the office. Sarah gazed out the window, her mind occupied not by the scenery but by the image of Andrew Chen's face. His wife lets out a piercing scream as his heart comes to a halt. Please take a seat, James said softly. It's time for me to gather my belongings. Take a seat. Lower. She settled into a chair. James maneuvered closer. Share the details of the event with me. Everything. The words trickled out at first, then poured forth in a torrent. The bustling emergency room. the numerous code blues. In her fatigue, she mistakenly seized the incorrect vial. Andrew Chun experienced an allergic reaction. The inquiry. 3 months later, her husband passed away. They mentioned the pressure that came from standing by her during the legal battle. Emma was 6. Sarah had completed her task. The settlement claimed it all. I was unable to. After that, I was unable to practice. I found it hard to rely on my own judgment. James remained silent for an extended period. What motivated you to submit your application here? Emma's asthma is deteriorating. The pharmaceuticals. I found it challenging to maintain a steady job. Absolutely not. He inclined his body slightly, drawing closer. What brings us to this place? It was inevitable that we would look into your history. Sarah locked her gaze with his. Because you required a companion who grasped the depths of sorrow. The surprising how the gravest errors can impart the most valuable insights. What about those lessons? Verify all details thoroughly. Trust your intuition. Always value trust deeply. She rose to her feet. I will submit my resignation. Absolutely not. James, Patricia is correct. I carry a burden. One is human. He approached the window. Do you have any idea what I was up to the day before my accident? Disregarded weather alerts? Did you go ahead and climb regardless? A single error. That stands out. Could it be? He glanced over his shoulder. Each of us bears the weight of our missteps, Sarah. They either shatter us or shape us. The board is capable of handling it. I refuse to let go of the most exceptional caregiver I've ever had just because my sister is acting like a detective. Sarah sensed the tears welling up. I ought to have shared it all with you. You accomplished that. Each day in the way you create. In the way you nurture Emma. Your determination in advocating for my recovery is truly commendable. Even in moments of defiance. He offered her a tissue. Moreover, I was aware. What is the status of the malpractice case? I reviewed your file on the very day you were brought on board. But what is the reason? Your gaze met mine, and you openly confessed your need for the position. No pity party. There are no justifications. Only honesty. He offered a faint smile. I appreciate that. A sudden knock broke the silence. Patricia. Once more. Prepared to confront the Inquisition? James inquired. Sarah straightened her posture. Are you? In unison. She acknowledged with a nod. In unison. James pushed the door open. Prepared for the fight. Some errors, Sarah came to understand, resulted in surprising partnerships. Simply breathe through it, Sarah advised. Assisting James as yet another muscle spasm seized his back. The clock had long struck midnight. The main house was still, save for the sound of his heavy breaths. Tell me, he gasped, struggling to catch his breath between spasms. Share some insights about Andrew Chin. Sarah's hands paused briefly on his shoulders. What is the reason? Because, oh dear, because I crave the diversion. It's essential to discuss it. The hour grows late. The shadows. The fragility of the present. It dismantled her typical barriers. While she diligently navigated through his physical therapy exercises, words began to flow from her lips. He taught chemistry at the high school level. Arrived experiencing chest pains while on my night shift. Our team was lacking in personnel. The time of year when colds and viruses make their rounds. 3 critical patients in simultaneous coding. Her hands glided with purpose, seeking out the tension woven into his muscles. I found myself in the midst of hour 16. What transpired? Misidentified the medication amidst the turmoil. Comparable titles, distinct containers. As we came to understand his allergy, she took a deep breath. His spouse was expecting their first offspring. James' breathing slowly found its rhythm under her attentive watch. What about your husband? Tom struggled to cope with the consequences. The discussions regarding legal matters. The obligation. The weight of my sorrow. They called it a heart attack. Induced by stress. She assisted him in changing his position. Emma has little recollection of him. That's the reason you verify my medications 3 times. In fact, it happened 4 times. A soothing stillness enveloped them. Sarah persisted with the exercises, observing that James had stopped tensing at her touch. Confidence forged through endless evenings such as this. He suddenly revealed that my company nearly faced failure on 2 occasions. In the inaugural year, a significant security breach occurred. In the second year, our primary development team was taken by a competitor. Yet you endured. Hardly. I've lost it all, but my passion for climbing remains. That was my way out, he chuckled gently. It's quite ironic when you think about it. Do you long for it? Each and every day. He locked his gaze with hers in the soft glow of the fading light. However, I'm discovering fresh methods to ascend. With a gentle touch, Sarah guided him back into his chair. Patricia's background check will not alter the situation. The board values my choices, regardless of my sister's opinion. She is making an effort to keep you safe. No, she is attempting to take charge of the circumstances. There exists a distinction. He turned to the window, the moonlight casting a silvery glow on his features. I've been contemplating Andrew Chen's spouse. Sarah tensed up. James, please refrain. Ensure the educational division is secured. A scholarship could be established by us. For kids who have experienced the loss of their parents, particularly those who have had teachers in their lives. You needn't feel obligated, it's my choice. He pivoted to meet her gaze. This isn't meant for you. To Emma. For the offspring of that chemistry instructor. For every child whose world transformed in a heartbeat. Emotions welled up. Sarah immersed herself in the task of arranging his medications. The board meeting scheduled for tomorrow will go smoothly, all thanks to your efforts. He grasped her hand. Sarah, confront your past instead of fleeing from it. It's time to stop the self-inflicted torment. Have I? The inquiry slipped out before she had a chance to restrain it. Your question alone is evidence enough. His hold became more intense. Trust falls are a mutual experience. You've discovered my secret, in both a literal sense and a figurative one. I'd like to repay your kindness. Sarah gazed at their intertwined fingers. Provider and recipient. 2 individuals molded by their most challenging experiences. Discovering resilience through collective insight. She finally said, Tom would have liked you. Exceptional commendation. He possessed a keen intuition regarding others, just as Emma does. James let go of her hand. Regarding Emma, her coding skills are advancing more rapidly than her math abilities. There's a teacher conference scheduled for tomorrow. Following your board meeting, I might be able to make it, if you seek support. Sarah beamed. Are you ready for a trust fall? Leap of faith. As she assisted him in getting ready for bed, Sarah sensed a change in the atmosphere surrounding them. A profound enhancement of trust. Acknowledgement of common struggles. Some scars, she understood, transformed into bridges when revealed to the right companion. Sleep well, James. Is that you, Sarah? His voice halted her at the threshold. Thanks a lot. Thank you for sharing information about Andrew. She nodded, her voice caught in her throat. She gently closed the door behind her. Discussions about a merger? Sarah hesitated while fixing James' tie, the meaning settling in her mind. The morning sunlight poured into his office, casting a spotlight on the strain etched across his face. Yesterday, Global Tech extended an offer. He nervously adjusted his cufflinks, a fidgeting tendency she had observed in the course of board meetings. There is interest in acquiring SecureShare's educational software division. The latest endeavor you are embarking on. The one you began following your lessons with Emma. It seems our adaptive learning algorithms have piqued their interest. He locked his gaze with hers in the reflection. They are presenting an 8-figure sum. Sarah completed the adjustment of the tie. That is noteworthy. It serves as a means of escape. What the board desired when I was... He motioned towards the wheelchair. During my darkest moments. What comes next? Now I find myself questioning the desire to break free. He turned to his desk, bringing up the presentation slides. The educational software is functioning, Sarah. It's more than just for Emma. We have been conducting pilot tests in 3 schools. Sarah took a final look at his medication schedule before the meeting. What are the outcomes? There has been a 30% enhancement in math scores. A remarkable 60% boost in student engagement. He swept his fingers through his hair. We are creating an impact. So what's the reason to think about selling? Patricia contemplates. I won't be consulting Patricia. James fell silent for a brief moment. The incident altered everything. The board's confidence has waned. A merger would solidify the company's position and safeguard the workforce. Could it safeguard your eyesight? Just as he was about to respond, Emma stormed into the office, brandishing a sheet of paper. Observe. I scored 92% on my math test. James' expression brightened. Allow me to take a look at that. He scrutinized the test. Confidence unmistakable. These coding principles truly resonated, didn't they? Is it possible to increase the difficulty of the game now? Kindly. Sarah glanced at her watch. Education comes first. You have already missed the time. But mother, no excuses. Mrs. Garcia is ready to take you for a ride. Once Emma departed, James fixated on the exam she had forgotten. She is the inspiration behind the creation of this division. Children who have unique learning styles, who requires technology to communicate effectively. Then convey that to the board. It's more complex than that. Simply isn't. Sarah compiled her notes in preparation for the meeting. However, fleeing wasn't your approach prior to the incident. What's the reason to begin at this moment? James lifted an eyebrow in curiosity. Are you turning my own words against me? Gaining insights from the finest. She passed him the remote for his presentation. Are you prepared? The atmosphere in the boardroom was daunting. Everything is sleek and shiny. Patricia was already positioned at the head of the table. The board members trickled in at a leisurely pace. Their inquisitive looks at James were hardly hidden. Sarah positioned herself close to the rear wall. Available yet subtle. As James commenced his presentation, she observed the atmosphere in the room transform. His voice resonated with confidence as he recounted the triumphs of the educational division. His enthusiasm shines through in every number. We're not merely developing software, he concluded. We are transforming the way children perceive their own identities, their possibilities, their destiny. He retrieved Emma's test scores from before and after. This is a single student. Envision countless. The board's inquiries were incisive. Exploring. James approached each task with the meticulous skill she had observed him cultivate through months of dedicated practice. When the opportunity from Global Tech arose, he was prepared. He asserted with conviction that selling now would be hasty. We're crafting experiences. We are crafting tomorrow's possibilities, including my own. Following the meeting, Patricia confronted them in James' office. That approach doesn't align with our previous conversation. Indeed, James concurred. It was an improvement. The merger would have obliterated our uniqueness. He turned sharply to his desk. Convey my apologies to the Global Tech team. Patricia departed, visibly discontented. Sarah started to arrange the medications for the afternoon. James noted the silence. I've been reflecting on your words, concerning what lies ahead, including yours. His inquiry was thoughtful, deliberate. Sarah locked eyes with him. Perhaps it's time I ceased evading my own. Do you have your nursing license? The review board is scheduled to convene next month. She squared her shoulders. If you can confront the corporate board, then I can do the same. James beamed with delight. Are we doing a trust fall? Leap of faith. The afternoon sun bathed the office in a warm glow, emphasizing the journey they had taken since their initial encounter. At times, Sarah understood the most challenging ascents resulted in the most breathtaking vistas. The phone rang in the midst of James's investor presentation. Good day, Mrs. Mitchell. You are speaking with Evergreen Elementary. Emma is experiencing a serious asthma attack. Sarah felt a sudden jolt in her chest. She looked at James, who held the room's attention in his wheelchair, presenting secure shares for the future to prospective investors. The rejection of the merger rendered this meeting essential. I'm on my way, she murmured, already in motion. As she slipped out, James's gaze met hers. She silently spoke his name, and noticed a flicker of comprehension cross his features, quickly replaced by worry. Yet he found himself unable to depart. Not at this moment. Not when there are millions in funding on the line. The nurse greeted her at the entrance of the school. Her inhaler proved ineffective. Nebulizer treatment has commenced. Emma lingered in the nurse's office, her lips faintly blue, each breath a palpable challenge. Sarah's medical expertise came into play. Heart racing, skin damp, breathing quickened. "Darling, I'm right here." She grasped Emma's hand, observing the slight shakes. "Inhale deeply with the nebulizer." "It hurts," Emma breathed out, her voice trembling. Sarah's phone vibrated with a sudden buzz. Patricia. She dismissed it. Yet another buzz. James. Overlooked. The nebulizer treatment provided some relief, yet it fell short of what was needed. "We must head to the hospital," Sarah concluded, acknowledging the familiar signs she had encountered far too frequently in recent times. In the emergency room, medical professionals prescribed further interventions. Sarah embraced Emma with unwavering support, her thoughts swirling in a chaotic dance. The assaults were escalating, occurring with increasing regularity. The medications had lost their effectiveness. Her phone continued to vibrate incessantly. At last, in a serene pause while Emma rested between treatments, she glanced at the messages. "James, the meeting has concluded." "Which hospital?" "Patricia, your absence did not go unnoticed. Investors are expressing their concerns." "James, heading out now." "James, please refrain from arguing. I'm already in the car." "Excuse me, Ms. Mitchell?" The physician arrived bearing the results of the tests. "It is essential that we have a conversation about Emma's condition." The update was disappointing. Emma's asthma had advanced considerably. She required targeted care, potentially involving an operation. The expense would be exorbitant. Sarah was still absorbing the moment when she heard the unmistakable sounds of a wheelchair rolling down the hallway. "You shouldn't be here," she said as James stepped inside. Emma shouldn't either. He surveyed the medical equipment, the monitors. How terrible, unsatisfactory. Her voice trembled. "She requires an operation. Experts. I am unable to. The expense, your coverage, features a substantial deductible." Given my experience, securing coverage was... James edged nearer, grasping her hand gently. "Allow me to assist you." She withdrew. "Your money is not something I will accept. Acquire the companies. Our medical coverage is outstanding. As a member of the team, my role is to support you, not to lead." He spoke softly about your family. Emma awoke, her eyes fluttering open. "Is that you, James? Your important meeting was overlooked." "Some matters hold greater significance than meetings." He turned to her bedside. "I heard you managed to surpass my high score in the coding game." Emma forced a faint smile. "You allowed me to come out on top." "Not at all. Women from Mitchell possess a strong sense of pride that makes them reluctant to accept assistance. Wouldn't you agree, Sarah?" Sarah sensed the tears welling up. "James, allow me to take care of this. Not as a handout, but as kin." Emma has certainly earned her position as SecureShare's lead beta tester. Wouldn't you agree? Emma found relief in her breath, the recent treatment proving effective. "Is it possible for me to try out the new math games once I've improved?" James promised that when you feel better, you have the ability to contribute to their design. Once Emma had drifted off to sleep, Sarah quietly made her way into the hallway alongside James. "The investors can wait. Patricia took care of it." "I cannot accept." "Yes, you can." His tone was resolute, "for you would do the same for me. I have followed the same routine each day since you started this position." Sarah sank to the floor, utterly spent. "I was meant to assist you, yet you believe I haven't done so." Once more, he extended his hand toward hers. "Allow another to carry the weight for a moment. Do you recall the trust fall exercise?" She gazed at their intertwined fingers, recalling a different hospital, a different patient. Yet, on this occasion, she found herself in the company of others. "Very well," she murmured. Leap of faith. Through the window, she observed Emma resting serenely, her breaths now calm and rhythmic. Occasionally, Assistance arrived from the most surprising sources. At times, the bonds we form can surpass mere genetics. Thank you, she murmured gently. James gently clasped her hand. That's the purpose of family. Dr. Weber explained that the recovery time would be 3 months. His Swiss accent clear and distinct during the video call. The procedure has demonstrated encouraging outcomes in cases akin to Mr. Whitman's. Sarah observed the expression on James' face as he processed the information. In his office, they lingered, the Seattle rain casting intricate shadows across the walls. And the success rate, she inquired, meticulously recording the details in her medical journal. 68% of patients experienced a return of partial mobility beneath the injury site. 30% experienced notable progress. What are the potential dangers? James spoke with unwavering calm. Every surgical procedure comes with its own set of risks. Given the significant improvements in your health over the past few months, you stand out as an exceptional candidate. Once the call concluded, James fixed his gaze on the procedure documents. 3 months spent in Switzerland. The timing aligns perfectly with the company's fiscal year, Sarah suggested. Patricia is capable of managing operations in your absence. That's not my concern, he turned to the window. Emma is scheduled for surgery next month. Emma will be all right. The expert you suggested, whom you allowed me to suggest, following 3 disputes, stands out as the finest in Seattle. Sarah took her place next to him. This is your opportunity, James. Genuine healing. If it doesn't succeed, you'll take care of it, as you have managed all other matters. He pivoted to meet her gaze. Join me on this journey. Sarah's heart faltered. Excuse me? Heading to Switzerland? In the role of my caregiver. The clinic permits it. Leaving Emma is not an option for me. She is welcome to join as well. Geneva boasts outstanding international schools. Her recovery is bound to span several months. The climber. James. Sarah's voice carried a soft warmth. Cease. He became quiet, comprehending the emergence. The moment isn't suitable. Truly never is. Her smile was tinged with sadness. Emma requires a solid foundation as she navigates her healing process. I must complete my nursing review board hearings. You must accomplish this independently. Absolutely. The rain tapped rhythmically on the windows, breaking the stillness that enveloped them. All that they had created during the preceding months. Confidence, companionship, perhaps something beyond that. In an instant, a sense of vulnerability washed over me. I require a short-term substitute. He finally spoke. I will assist in locating someone. Patricia possesses documents on suitable candidates. They will never be you. The straightforward declaration lingered in the atmosphere. Sarah immersed herself in organizing his medication schedule, struggling against the constriction in her throat. 3 months is just a brief moment in time. She persevered. Sufficient time for transformations to occur. Certain things will remain unchanged. She locked her gaze with his. Your organization will be present. Emma's coding games are on the way. And, additionally, and I shall remain here, if you wish. James extended his hand toward hers. A movement that felt instinctive. Cozy. What if I desire something beyond that? Sarah's breath hitched. James, I understand. Poor timing. Clear limits of professionalism. Countless reasons against it. His hold grew firmer. However, when I reflect on the surgery, concerning the act of walking once more, you play a role in what lies ahead. Emma and you. It's not possible. Unable or unwilling. Prior to her response, Patricia stormed in, clutching the quarterly reports. The instant fractured. Subsequently getting ready for Emma's routine breathing exercises. Sarah discovered a notification on her phone. James had moved her to the company's permanent medical team. Comprehensive advantages. Complete compensation. A horizon yet to be explored. Her phone vibrated, signaling a new message. Leap of faith. With tears glistening in her eyes, she smiled as memories of their journey flooded back. From a mere acquaintance to a nurturing presence to a cherished companion. Something ambiguous. A treasure that deserves patience. Leap of faith. She replied with a message. Strive for improvement. The rain has finally ceased outside. Sunlight wove its way through the clouds, casting a tapestry of possibilities over the Seattle sky. You need to bring more sweaters, Sarah remarked, observing James as he rummages through his closet. Only 2 days were left until his departure for Switzerland. His typically tidy room resembled a chaotic battlefield. Swiss hospitals maintain a comfortable warmth. He responded, struggling to fold a shirt with just one hand. Here it is. She seized the shirt, folding it with meticulous care. Allow me to assist you. I must acquire the skills to handle this on my own. You shall. Located in Switzerland. She carefully folded the shirt and tucked it into his suitcase. At this moment, you will allow me to assist you. Ensure you arrive without any wrinkles in your attire. James observed her meticulous packing process. His expression was a mystery. Emma's surgery was a success. Appreciation for your expert's assistance. She averted her gaze from him. The physicians have indicated that she will be prepared to return to school next month. Sarah. His voice halted her anxious fidgeting. It's time for a discussion. What are we discussing? He made a sweeping motion between them. Can you tell me what transpired in the office last week? Sarah perched on the edge of his bed. There was no occurrence. Precisely. Due to Patricia's interruption. The timing simply wasn't appropriate. There is always a purpose behind it all. As I am part of your team, you are so much more than that. You're aware of it. I am aware of it. He rolled nearer. Emma is aware of it. James. 3 months have passed. His hand gently sought hers. 3 months to improve. Perhaps to walk once more. You have 3 months to complete your nursing review. For Emma's recovery. What happens next? Then we cease to uncover excuses for our hesitation. Sarah gazed at their intertwined fingers. What happens if the surgery is unsuccessful? What happens if it does? He gently lifted her chin. What truly frightens you? Letting this slip away. Everything. The words spilled forth. Should we strive for greater things and encounter failure? Similar to Andrew Chin. Similar to your spouse. Similar to my mishap. His voice carried a soothing quality. Life is brimming with possibilities, Sarah. I discovered that in the mountains. At times, you must ascend regardless. A sudden knock broke the silence. Emma lingered in the threshold. Her breathing remained cautious following the surgery. Mom, may I assist with packing? James beamed with delight. Impeccable timing. Your mother struggles with the task of organizing socks. With a burst of energy, Emma burst through the door, shattering the silence that had enveloped the room. Her vitality is gradually coming back, day by day. She lifted a cozy, chunky sweater. This will be essential for you. I searched for information about Switzerland online. The air is chilly. Do you see? Sarah chuckled softly. Even Emma is aware of sweaters. The next hour was devoted to packing side by side. Emma enthusiastically discussing Swiss chocolate and the thrill of ski slopes. James feigning indignation at their proposals for organization. It seemed ordinary, authentic, as if we were kin. After Emma settled into her slumber, Sarah remained in James's room, savoring the quiet moments. Your flight departs at 10 o'clock. I'll take you for a ride. Patricia has already made arrangements. I am taking you for a ride. Her tone allowed for no dissent. For one final moment in my role as your caregiver. James grasped the significance. Following Switzerland, everything would shift in one manner or another. He repeated 3 months. So much can unfold in just 3 months. Positive aspects. He lifted his hand, gently cradling her cheek. If we allow them to proceed. Sarah embraced his touch for a fleeting moment, then regained her composure. It's time for you to take a break. Tomorrow is a significant day. She paused at the threshold, glancing over her shoulder. Is that you, James? What's that? Don't forget to include the blue sweater as well. The choice made by Emma. His smile conveyed a deep sense of understanding. Leap of faith. Leap of faith. In the stillness of the guest house that night, Sarah observed Emma as she slumbered peacefully. 3 months have passed. It's a moment for restoration, in pursuit of transformation, for opportunities. Perhaps she understood certain ascents were deserving of the peril. Her phone illuminated with a message from James. Are you still up? It's time to rest now. Switzerland beckons. 3 months have passed. Sarah beamed. 3 months. Attention passengers. This is the final boarding call for Swiss Air Flight 317, destined for Geneva. The announcement resonated throughout the international terminal of Seattle-Tacoma Airport. Sarah positioned herself alongside James at the security checkpoint, while Emma held tightly onto both of their hands. The morning light streamed through the expansive windows, creating elongated shadows that danced across the terminal floor. Your medications are in the front pocket, Sarah said, her tone remaining composed and neutral, concealing any hint of the previous night's discussion. Your schedule is set up in your phone. The Swiss clinic possesses your complete medical history. Sarah. James tightened his grip on her hand. I can handle this. Emma embraced them both tightly, wrapping her arms around James with fervor. Make sure to promise that you'll video call. I'm excited to share my latest coding project with you. Each weekend, he vowed. Will you look after your mom for me? It's necessary for someone to take action. Emma beamed, receiving a playful scowl from Sarah. Patricia arrived with the last set of boarding documents in hand. It's time to leave, James. Assistance with a wheelchair is ready and waiting. Sarah took a step back, allowing the airport staff to assume her familiar role behind James's chair. The seemingly ordinary act carried immense significance. The initial move towards release. James assured Patricia that the company was in capable hands. Please refrain from causing chaos on the board in my absence. Do your best not to frighten the Swiss doctors, his sister shot back. Yet her voice was heavy with feeling. As they faced security, James grasped Sarah's hand one final time. 3 months. 3 months, she repeated. Emma continued to wave until they vanished from sight beyond the security checkpoint. Mother, are you in tears? No, darling. Sarah hastily dried her tears, her mind preoccupied with his medication routine. Liar, Emma whispered gently, grasping her hand. Your feelings for him are undeniable, aren't they? Sarah fixed her gaze on the security gate, the very spot where James had disappeared. It's quite intricate, Emma. It's solely due to the complexities introduced by adults. They observed James's flight ascend through the terminal windows, the aircraft shrinking to a mirror against the dawn sky. Sarah reflected on the past months, transitioning from a series of desperate job interviews to this very moment, moving from a place of professional detachment to grappling with the unfamiliar ache in her chest. Her phone vibrated with a sudden buzz. I already miss my drill sergeant caregiver. Emma glanced at the message, a smile spreading across her face. Do you see? It's quite straightforward. Sarah put her phone aside, collecting their belongings. Shall we head back, my dear? We have our own journey of healing ahead of us. As they drove back to the guest house, now they're home, she realized Emma was curious and asked, what happens after 3 months? Sarah reflected on James's touch, their near kiss, the future suspended between them like a vow. We'll see, she remarked. Yet, for the very first time, she allowed herself to dream. Once more, her phone vibrated. Are we doing a trust fall? With Emma by her side, the Seattle skyline stretching out before her, and James's message illuminating her phone, Sarah couldn't help but smile. Some jumps necessitated a release beforehand. Trust fall, she murmured, steering the car toward home. The annual gala of the SecureShare Foundation was alive with excitement. In the grand ballroom, donors, educators, and tech innovators exchanged ideas. Yet Sarah's gaze was unwavering, locked onto the stage where James was poised to speak to the audience. It's quite astonishing, wouldn't you agree? Patricia emerged next to her, exuding elegance in a stunning designer gown. Both the posture and the delivery of the speech. With a gentle curve of her lips, Sarah beamed. The Swiss treatment surpassed all expectations. James may not have been racing in marathons, yet with a cane in hand and unwavering resolve, he had restored his independence in ways they had never imagined possible. Mother. Emma hurried forward, her tablet held tightly against her chest. Has the moment arrived? Close, darling. Sarah adjusted her daughter's dress, no longer the small child from their early days at the Whitman estate, but a confident 12-year-old who had just triumphed in her first coding competition. The lights faded to a soft glow. James approached the podium, his cane discreet yet noticeable. 2 years ago, SecureShare found itself at a pivotal moment. He began. We had the option to take the secure route, perhaps a merger, a buyout, or a dignified departure. Rather, we opted to ascend. His gaze locked onto Sarah's amidst the throng of people. This evening, we're honoring something beyond just educational software. We're honoring the opportunity for renewal. The Emma Mitchell Scholarship Program has successfully supported 50 children of healthcare workers in chasing their aspirations. Our innovative learning platform connects with schools across the country. Emma gripped Sarah's hand tightly while James pressed on with his words. Yet, individual triumphs hold significance as well. Today, I am pleased to share that I will be stepping into the role of chairman of the board. The new CEO, with a warm smile directed at Sarah, combines medical expertise with personal experience to further our mission. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sarah Mitchell. The audience erupted in applause as Sarah approached the stage. As she grasped James's hand, her engagement ring shimmered brilliantly, drawing everyone's attention. Are you ready for a trust fall? He murmured softly as she approached the podium. Without fail, she responded. As Emma showcased her latest code to captivate the donors, Sarah sensed James's arms encircle her waist. Feeling remorseful? He inquired. Concerning any of it? She reclined against him, reflecting on their adventure. The determined single mother, the frustrated patient, the gradual cultivation of trust, the division of Switzerland, the uncertain gathering, the subtle suggestion in his workspace where everything started. It was simply that we took our time to acknowledge what we had understood from the very beginning. At long last, he pressed his lips to her temple. Even though your daughter insists she was aware from the very beginning. Our daughter, Sarah, has been corrected. Last month, the adoption papers were finalized. Emma captured their attention and gestured with a wave. On her tablet screen, a charming game glimmered. The catalyst that ignited it all. Revised and polished, yet continuing to show children that mistakes are not conclusions, but rather fresh starts. Trust fall, Sarah murmured, sensing the warmth of James's smile in her hair. They discovered that certain ascents were intended for companionship. Some tumbles resulted in soaring. At times, the most winding paths take you precisely to the destination you seek.